gets underway. This one will be called a road strike. So now the 1-1 count here for Weston Laughlin Warriors.
Yeah, Laughlin moved as he gave into this room. Two batters already into 10 two batters, 2 hours. He did that very confidence.
Third pitch from Carmel hits Weston Laughlin's on that right leg.
I'm Raegan Melby alongside Patrick Levora here at Hartman Field for the Carmel Greyhounds season opener. We apologize for the late start on the broadcast, but just to fill you guys in, it is the top of the first inning. Cal Carmichael is on the bump for the Carmel Greyhounds, and he got the first 2 batters out, but the third batter just now was Weston Laughlin, who took the hit by pitch. So now up is Colin Firkenhoff.
Yeah, Brendan, Colin Firkenhoff is a junior this year who had a .260 batting average last year. Pretty good for a sophomore.
Carmichael's pitch is swung on and missed, so a 1-1 count for Cal Carmichael. And yeah, back to Firkenhoff. He is now in his junior year. We have a lot of players returning for Covenant Christian, as they only lost 1 senior. Carmichael throws back to first. That was actually pretty close, but Laughlin able to make it back in time. So a 1-1 count, 2 outs. Colin Firkenhoff up to bat. Carmichael's pitch is popped up, drifting towards foul territory, and it is caught by Jackson Harris for the 3rd out. Carmel Greyhounds, a good start to the season.
Yeah, great play there by Jackson Harris. Just a routine pop fly, but he got in the right spot, got in the right area, and was just made the right play.
I was thinking there was a chance that Beam was going to come over from first base, because it's typically easier to make those catches for a fielder or a pitcher with those fielder gloves, but no problem for Jackson Harris, who did it by himself behind the plate.
Carmel baseball backers like to thank the following sponsors.
Just to fill you guys in on some of this team's history, last season the Carmel Greyhounds had a record of 8-9, but that does not determine a lot of who this team is, because they have lost 10 seniors, some notable ones such as J.D. Stein, an absolute stud for Carmel all 4 years, now playing at Wake Forest. Also lost Parker Haney, now playing at Hanover, and they lost some key pitchers in Cole Codwell and Evan Vogt. But Cal Carmichael, a good start to the season after only getting 27 innings pitched. He was the 3rd most in that last season, and is now the most that is still on the team. But he had an ERA of 4.81, not the best, but he did have an outing versus Cathedral that absolutely blew his ERA up. So I do think Carmichael is a very solid pitcher, and we saw it from him just right there in that last inning.
Yeah, Carmichael is definitely one of the better pitchers on this team. Not necessarily one of those, gunslingers, but he's very, very consistent with his pitches, and his control is absolutely outrageous, what he can do with that ball.
As I mentioned, Covenant Christian only lost 1 senior in the pitcher, Nolan Guzman, but they did lose a couple of stars due to transfers. I think that is absolutely detrimental to the Warriors, because they lost Blake Cope, a senior committed to Wichita State, who led the team in hits, home runs, and triples. He really did it all, and he transferred to Zionsville Community High School. They also lost Bryce Egan, one of their top hitters, who transferred from Covenant Christian Warriors to the Danville Warriors. So, now up for the Carmel Greyhounds to start the season at the plate will be John Zangrilli.
Yeah, Brendan, last year he only had 2 plate appearances and had an average of 0.
So yeah, not a lot of opportunities. As I mentioned, he's in his senior season, and last year, his junior year, he's a great player. I mean, he's leading off for the Greyhounds, but only got 2 plate appearances.
Yeah, last year's Carmel team was stacked with hitters.
As this ball is popped up by Zangrilli, and the ball is dropped, so Zangrilli able to make it to first off the error by Blackney. Wow, a couple of those that we've seen already, as Neal had an error on a ball that bounced foul, and then an error right here from Blackney gets Zangrilli to first base.
Number 1, Max Walkie.
Now we have Max Walkie, lefty batter for the Carmel Greyhounds, up to plate. The pitch, Walkie shows bunt, pulls back, but the base is stolen easily by Zangrilli.
So now a quick player onto second base. As the Greyhounds just completely cut.
And a mound visit. Witter wants to talk this one over with Kagiris.
Yeah, Walkie was a junior last year. Not exactly sure how many plate appearances he had last year, but it was a pretty low amount. But he did have a 308 batting average, which is pretty phenomenal for someone of his age when he was on the team last year.
Yeah, as far as sophomores go, he was one of the top ones last year. Him and Harris were the 2 main ones, but he batted 308, so hopefully he's able to bring that to the table in this season. As a runner's on second, as Walkie takes the second pitch, called a ball. So a 2-0 count for Max Walkie.
There's now a 2-0 count.
Max Walkie also had his season cut short last year with a torn hamstring. Definitely a detrimental injury to overcome, but it seems like he's done that. And let's hope he bounces back well today.
Kegaris turns back,
He does turn back in Zangrilli.
fakes the throw to Zangrilli.
Ball doesn't even
Firkenhoff was barely even over at second base, so Kagiris holds it.
Here is Max Walkie now for his third.
Kagiris, the 2-0 pitch,
This one is
swung on, strike one for Walkie.
quick strike in the first strike.
Nice pitch there, just nothing but straight heat down the middle. Walkie was a little bit early on it. 2-1 count now for Max Walkie. As the pitch is ripped towards right center field. It looks like it will be caught by Boyce, but Zangrilli will be able to tag up and make it to third base. So, overall, pretty beneficial at bat for Max Walkie.
Right there for Walkie and the Greyhounds. A man is now on third with just 1 out pretty early in the inning.
Batting third for the Greyhounds. The designated
Batting third for the Greyhounds, we have Charlie Rainick, the junior for Carmel High School. This is his first year on varsity, so we do not have much stats for him. We will only have to wait and see what he holds for us. Batting third to start the new season.
Extremely powerful with the bat. Lots of homers. His first season with the Greyhounds was
The pitch outside, called for ball one.
Trailblazers, made it his way over to the Greyhounds and transfer
Again, Zangrilli is now on third base, so
in the lineup in his first season as a Greyhound.
all Rainick needs to do is put it anywhere out there, and Zangrilli should be able to score. As the second pitch is swung on early again and fouled off towards the Greyhounds dugout.
Yeah, Brendan, Rainick is a transfer in from university. His last 2 years he was at university. I believe he played varsity last year, JV, his freshman year. He was a stud at university, batting pretty well. He was kind of the anchor of that team.
Third pitch is outside. Zangrilli is going to steal home, and he does. So a wild pitch results in the Carmel Greyhounds taking a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and Brendan, that's Zangrilli's third steal in just this inning. He gained all of the bases but first from steals this inning, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, after the pop-up from Walkie, he was able to tag up, take third. So let's just go way back to the pop-up that Blackney should have been able to catch, but just botched it and considered that he was hit to the moon. Zangrilli found his way onto first base because of that, stole second, and then Walkie with the drive to right center field was caught, tagged up on, and then a wild pitch here results into him taking home plate. So
it also looks like it resulted in Witter's knee guard and shin guard coming off and breaking, apparently. Definitely not a great sign for this Covenant Christian team.
The helping teammate Barrett Byers there to help put on that.
Yeah, as a former catcher, these problems happen pretty often. It could just be a strap falling off or what have. But Witter looks like he is now good to go. As is Charlie Rainick still up to bat. He has a 1-1 count. No runners on base anymore and only 1 out.
A little bit of the same move made by Charlie Rainick, but found his way over back to out Tacoma High School as Charlie Rainick is now here with a 1-1 count.
Kagiris, the pitch.
On the
Outside, 2-1 count for Rainick.
That is now a couple balls here from Eli Kiers that have just been way outside, including one wild pitch that even led John Zane really to get his way for the first one of the year.
The 2-1 pitch. Swung on ferociously, but unable to make contact as that is strike two. A 2-2 count now for Charlie Rainick.
There from Rainick.
And now we're going to have to look into the game. There's no one on.
Charlie Rainick needs to protect now.
That's the reason
Kagiris, the 2-2 pitch is popped up towards the third base foul line. Will someone be able to make it? No. They had 3 Warriors all around there in Thomas Firkenhoff and Blackney. None of them able to make the grab as also the Carmel bullpen needed to get out of the way as that was veering towards them.
For sure, that was definitely an opportunity there for Covenant Christian to kind of bounce back from the couple errors they've made so far. But, you know, not every opportunity is rewards you.
Kagiris, pitch is fouled off again down the first base line. Once again, he has 3 fielders running after that one, but he is staying alive. The count is still 2-2.
Either back to the dugout or out on the bases.
That ball was pretty uncatchable for the Covenant Christian players. You know, obviously it's always good to put effort out there, but no shot they were going to get that.
A 2-2 count remains here.
Rainick staying alive, about to get his 7th pitch of this at-bat as Kagiris fires it in low and called a ball. That will be ball 4. We had some errors with the scoreboard, so I apologize for saying it was 2-2, but that will be ball 4, and Charlie Rainick taking a walk on his first at-bat as a Carmel Greyhound. Almost got thrown out there, made it back just in time. Kagiris tried to catch him sleeping.
Yeah, up to bat here is Mark Niels, who played 7 games last year as a sophomore, currently a junior with 5 plate appearances and a 400 batting average, which is pretty phenomenal for someone of his age. Definitely something we could look to see here today.
Kagiris, first pitch is outside, called for ball 1.
Very fast player and prospect here for the Greyhounds, but another outside ball called here on Eli Kagiris. So the 1-0 count here to start things off for Niels.
Throws once again at Rainick. Rainick able to make it back in time.
Once again, is unable to do so and fails.
Still 1 out. Bottom of the first inning, the Carmel Greyhounds lead 1-0 as, wow, Kagiris fakes it to first once again. So a 1-0 count now for Mark Niels as Kagiris is taking his time.
Kagiris still deciding on the pitch he wants to throw over here to Mark Niels.
Kagiris, the 1-0 pitch fouled off over the net.
Behind the net,
and will give Niels a 1-1 count.
And now a 1-1 count here for Niels.
Definitely looked like a great opportunity for Mark Niels there. But, you know, there's always more to go.
Definitely was right down the middle.
Rainick, a big leadoff there at first base.
This ball goes way inside.
As he takes some big steps, but the pitch is inside, ball 2.
You know, kept his stance there in the batter's box, but now a 2-1 count.
Yeah, granted, it's hard to get yourself or to commit yourself to get hit. I mean, that's really hard to do.
It's a 2-1 count now for Mark Niels, a lefty batter, as this pitch is driven down towards right field, and the ball is bobbled trying to scoop it off. Niels tries to take second. Will he get it? No! Mark Niels is thrown out as he tried to gamble for second after Glipsy had some problems fielding that ball, but overall it worked out in the end as they were able to get Niels out at second base. Good news is that Raegan was able to make his way to third base, so they now have a runner easily in scoring territory with 2 outs as Jackson Harris, the Baylor commit, is up to bat.
That was left fielder Tor Peterson. Tor Peterson, as you said, fumbled that ball when trying to pick it up.
Pitch from Kagiris, swung on.
He was trying to think about going again.
Harris above it, as that is strike 1.
Go for second base. And as we know, he gets pulled out right there. Now here's Jackson Harris. Another lefty back.
Jackson Harris, the 0-1, trying to protect, gets hit by it. A hit by pitch. So not what you want to see with 2 outs, but not much hurt as there's now runners on corners. Raegan at third. Harris was at first until they are bringing in a pinch runner in Adam Fouts, replacing Jackson Harris.
27, Adam
Not
Fouts.
exactly your best base runner for the Greyhounds.
Now we have a Jackson Treadway up to bat. 2 runners on base, 2 outs. The Carmel Greyhounds lead 1-0.
Jackson Treadway.
He has found first and third, and Adam Fouts in first base, and Charlie Raegan at third.
He is really looking for him to get out of his inning as he is struggling.
Treadway, the junior, he also only had 1 plate appearance last year, resulted in an out, so he's not gotten a whole lot of varsity opportunities, but this season he will get plenty of them. So let's see how he's able to start off this year. As the pitch he looks at, called high, ball 1.
It could have been a potential swing for Jackson Treadway. Instead, he lets that one go in a 1-0 count here.
Treadway deep in the back of the box as Kagiris
I thought so as well. Pretty
fakes the throw.
as this time.
It appears that Eli Kagiris is thinking about anything but the batter, as we have seen several times he's either thrown it, faked the throw, a lot of times in just 1 inning. But the second pitch is far, far outside, called for ball 2. So a 2-0 count for Treadway.
Yeah, Kagiris has had a lot of errant throws today, and I definitely think it could be somewhat of a mental block due to it being his first game this season.
And the base is stolen by Adam Fouts. So 2 runners into scoring position, and Patrick just going back onto Eli Kagiris certainly has to be knocking off some rust because he's in his senior season. Last year, he pitched 51 innings, which was the most out of anyone on the team, and he only had a 2.2 ERA. So typically a very solid pitcher for the Covenant Christian Warriors, but struggling already just in the first inning. The Greyhounds lead 1-0 with 2 runners in scoring position, and Jackson Treadway up to bat. 3-1 pitch. Taking inside, ball 4. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. What a start we have to the Greyhounds' first batting inning since last year.
Yeah, next up to bat being Silas Neal, who is a senior this year, and last year he had a .217 batting average. Definitely something to look out for this season, as I've heard reports he's definitely improved his batting.
Silas Neal takes the first pitch, called ball 1. Neal will need to pick it up because he is a senior leader. He didn't have a bad season last year, but something that you would like to improve going into your senior year. Looked like a similar pitch there, this time called a strike, so a 1-1 count Neal is faced with.
Yeah, it's definitely the first tough call I've seen this ref have to make today. It's either been right down the zone or way, way out of it.
Neal hit by pitch. Kagiris is struggling. That is the second batter he has hit, and that scores Charlie Raegan. So the Greyhounds now lead 2-0 after a hit by pitch. Eli Kagiris, what is going wrong?
is number 17 as
Next up to bat
Warriors coach.
is the number 8 hitter, Jake Beam. It appears we will have a full mound visit. The coach wants to talk it over. Head coach Chris Stevenson going to talk to Kagiris to try to figure out what is going wrong because he has been struggling.
Not for the wrong decision. As we said, has been way out of control with the outside balls.
Yeah, Kagiris seems like today he's just got this mental block, you know. Definitely one of the hardest parts of being an athlete is kind of just that mental aspect of things. And it does seem like Kagiris is in his own head right now for sure. The only thing you can do is, you know, make a good play or get taken out. Honestly, once you get in that mental state of all I can do is mess up, you can't really get out of it.
Baseball is certainly one of the toughest sports mentally, but you would have to expect Kagiris is able to pick it up considering they are one of their best pitchers, if not the best, and is already having some struggles in the first inning, but they decide to keep him back out there as a strike is called on Beam. So an 0-1 count now. Jake Beam, bases loaded, 2 outs. The second pitch is low. 1-1 count for Beam.
Now a 1-1 count here for
Jake Beam, the lefty batter,
This one goes low. This one is
takes the pitch high and inside. Called for ball 2, so 2-1 count now.
backward, just how Silas Neal did in that last at-bat.
Greyhounds have a chance to go through the batting order if they keep this going. Kane Hare on deck is the 9th batter. As this pitch is swung on, fouled off behind him, 2-2 count.
Now a 2-2 count as that one is fouled behind him and hits the net. But as you were saying, a lot of hits so far.
Jake Beam
At least 3 of these.
needing to stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with the bases loaded.
Bases loaded for Jake Beam.
2-2 pitch is inside. Beam takes it for ball 3, so a full count now. High pressure situation. You'd have to expect the runners to run as soon as this pitch is thrown because, yeah, here they go. The pitch is fouled off, so now the runners who took off as soon as it was thrown will need to run back to their bases. Yeah, it's either going to be a ball, a strike, or a third out, so no reason not to run.
So they definitely want to get someone home.
Kagiris finally trying to get out of this inning as the full count pitch is fouled once again. Beam certainly staying alive as, oh, will it hit a car? Oh, off the white Ford.
Hits the door handle. Pretty close to the window.
Took a bounce before the car should be all right, but
Might want to get some car insurance.
Yeah, definitely one of the dangers of Hartman Field. You park too close, and you are right in foul ball territory.
Beam, full count. Kagiris looks back.
Definitely would like to shout out the Carmel High School athletic staff for telling me to move my car before I pass.
Oh, yes.
Kagiris, the full count pitch is called strike 3. Jake Beam watches it, and that is how we end a good inning for the Carmel Greyhounds. So although they left 3 runners on base, still a good start to the season for the Carmel Greyhounds, leading 2-0 after the first inning.
Yeah, definitely a great inning for Carmel, kind of coming out, showing that, you know, they can still hit the ball, as well as that they're still a productive team, right? I definitely think coming into the season there were some fears with this team due to them losing 10 seniors last year, and a lot of these guys being new on varsity. But I do believe this team has showed that although there's growth that they can make, they're a pretty good team.
Oh, wow. Do we already have a pitching change? Yes, we do. Cal Carmichael, after 4 batters getting all 3 outs, the first batter being a strikeout, and then 2 pop-outs, only 1 hit by pitch. Pretty solid inning for Cal Carmichael, but it looks like he is being replaced now by the senior Nate Steele. Interesting decision. This must have been the plan all along because not much more that Carmichael could have done.
Yeah, definitely something that they probably are doing to kind of mess with Covenant's head. trying to move their pitching staff around, create some variety so that Covenant doesn't have the same look.
Nate Steele, only a small sample size as he pitched 7 innings last year. But as I mentioned, they lost the 2 main pitchers in Cole Codwell and Evan Vogt. So we will see a bunch of new pitchers this season. I've also heard that there is a chance that Jake Beam finds his way on the mound this year. If not this game, he pitched 0 innings last year, but he could do it, and they will give him a chance this year. So starting off the second inning for Covenant Christian is the freshman Jacob Witter.
Every single weekend, so this is definitely a team that is looking to win state for the first time in program history. As the Greyhounds baseball squad never.
First pitch is fouled off.
Catch number 24, Jacob Witter.
Nate Steele is called a strike after a foul ball made by Jacob Witter, the catcher. Second pitch now underway.
0-1 pitch fired in there. Nate Steele. Oh yeah, as you mentioned, Patrick, might be messing with Covenant Christian by going from Cal Carmichael after 1 inning now to Nate Steele. Well, they are very different pitchers as wow. A high pitch is swung on, and that is strike 3. Jacob Witter, not a strong start to his high school career as he strikes out after 3 pitches. But yeah, Cal Carmichael.
For the Warriors, the designated
Slow, controlled pitcher, good movement. Nate Steele just straight gas as this pitch is swung on and caught. Nate Steele, oh yeah.
What a play.
As Barrett Byers rocketed that back at Steele. Steele's glove was in the right spot, opened it up and caught it there to get the second out. So an efficient inning so far for the Greyhounds as there's 4 pitches and 2 outs.
Yeah, I definitely think that will not help with Covenant Christian's heads. Beautiful play there by Nate.
And just if you look at the pace from Steele, this is what an inning so far. He wastes no time, almost never leaves a bump, just pitch after pitch after pitch, as this one is called high.
Just picked it out, went right in. He didn't even aim it.
Wait, that's a 1-1 count here for Steele. The first ball.
took it away.
Of the inning for the Greyhounds. 2 out.
1-1 count. That ball veering towards the third base foul line, and it is foul.
Made there by the
So a 1-2 count now.
Black is a freshman.
Steele, potential to make this a very quick inning as it's Blackney, the other freshman, up to bat.
Is Nate Steele once again with a 1-2 count now.
This pitch far inside. Blackney could have taken it, but gets his way away from it. This is his first at bat as a high schooler. I don't blame him.
Agreed. That's definitely one of the scariest feelings in baseball, having that pitch flying at you at God knows how fast.
Steele, whoa, almost painting the outside, but called a ball. So a 2-2 count.
Yeah, that's currently 3-2.
2-2 count now. As Steele, chance to get out of the inning, fires a pitch in. Yes, it is. Strike 3 for the Carmel Greyhounds. Well, wow. I thought Cal Carmichael did a great job. Well, Steele just did a perfect job.
What an inning for Nate Steele, someone who did not pitch a ton last year. And looking at that dugout, Silas Neal does not seem disappointed right now. So I definitely think that was their plan kind of all along. Have Silas come out first inning, pitch slow, controlled, throwing different types of pitches, and then having Nate Steele coming out and just throwing straight gas.
Interesting to see what they do moving on. I'd have to imagine they put Steele back out there. What a fabulous inning, as it was Jacob Witter, the freshman, getting struck out, and then Barrett Byers coming up to bat. He rocketed that back at Steele, who made the miraculous catch, quick reactions, and then the other freshman, Sean Blackney, up to bat, also strikes out.
It does look like Covenant Christian is having Kagaris come back out for this inning. Definitely a surprising move by their coach. Personally, I would not have trotted him out again after we saw what he did that first inning.
Although he gave up 2 runs, once Chris Stevenson's, the coach for Covenant Christian, called that mound visit, he got out of the inning with bases loaded, so only giving up 2 runs. it was worse. That inning for Kagiris was worse than the scoreboard shows.
Into the 92 category before his injury. Now, a little bit of a setback. Barely going 70, so yes, definitely.
As to start the inning for the Greyhounds will be Kane Hare, the 9th hitter. So after this, we are back to the top of the order. Kane Hare, in his senior season, also only got a small sample size last year with 12 plate appearances, had an average of 125, so got a couple hits in there, but otherwise a lot to prove this season in his senior year.
Out for at least 3 more weeks here. We'll see as he progresses. We'll keep you guys updated.
Witter already going up to Kagiris to talk things over, try to get him dialed in and have a better inning than the last one.
Yeah, I will say the scoreboard does not show the type of inning Kagiris had. I definitely think that there could have been more capitalization off of the mistakes that were made by the Carmel team. But I will say Kagiris did close out that inning very hot, and we'll see if he can carry it over into this inning.
Hare up to plate. The first pitch by Kagiris is outside, ball 1.
And that good eye plays in hand for Hare in the house.
So Hare close to the plate.
Now Kagiris getting this pitch ready.
As the second pitch is fired in low, ball 2. So a 2-0 count now for Kane Hare.
Let's call it here for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Kane Hare, senior this year. He only had 12 plate appearances as a junior last year with a 125 average. Definitely looking to expand on that this year and hopefully bat better.
Kagiris, his velocity looks good, but the accuracy does not. As it is a 3-0 count, I'd almost just want to throw a couple of strikes in there before I start firing it like he is. Well, there you go. Right on the outside line, Hare takes the 3-0 pitch, called on for a strike.
Definitely think throughout this at-bat, Hare is kind of pushed towards the edge of the box, definitely trying to crowd the plate, get into Kagiris' head.
100%. He did a great job of it, as that was something I mentioned too. His toes were right up there by the plate, but he does a good job getting walked on his first at-bat of the season. So a runner on base to start the inning.
There was a slight confrontation from the
Got it hit. In 7
Covenant Christian catcher Witter and Hare. Witter kind of got in Hare's way, and Hare bumped into him, and Witter definitely had some choice words for him. Probably not happy with the way he was crowding the plate. Definitely not giving Kagiris any room to pitch.
So now we are back to the top of the order, as it is John Zangrilli, the senior, up to bat. John Zangrilli did a good job starting off the season for the Carmel Greyhounds. Got to first base off of the error, able to steal second, tag up to third, and off of a wild pitch, he was the Carmel Greyhounds' first run as he rips this ball between second and first. Hare thinks about going 3, but stays at second. So, first hit of the season for John Zangrilli,
and a spectacular job done
as he finds his way to first base for the second time tonight.
Number 1, Max Walkie.
Yeah, Hare definitely could have gone third there. Definitely a smart decision to stay, though, because it would have been a very, very, very risky move.
Sky's the limit. Did it put the hit up there?
Sky is the
Kagiris, the pitch, showing bunt, pulls back, so a ball and the bases are stolen by Hare and Zangrilli. So a little bit of a chaotic situation there, as it was Walkie showing bunt, pulls back, Witter drops the pitch, and then Hare and Zangrilli able to steal the bases. So Coach Stevenson going out there to talk it over. Everything I saw there was perfectly legal. Warriors just was not expecting it. So after a quick conversation between the umpire and Coach Stevenson for Covenant Christian, We resume ball as there are 2 runners in scoring position with Hare at third base and Zangrilli at second base. Infielders creeping their way inside, preventing a run as this ball's ripped down the third base foul line, and it's fair, and it's fair. 2 runners are going to score, and Max Walkie could have been a stand-up double, but slid for some fun. Max Walkie, wow.
And you cannot ask for a better hit than that one.
Unbelievable placement on that ball as it was veering towards the third base foul line, but just landed right in the corner of the warning track, right by that foul line, right by the fence, snuck it in there, scored 2 runners, and made his way to second base.
Yeah, beautiful hit there by Max Walkie. Wonderful placement.
Responds to for the Greyhounds in that, so a lot of
As Kagiris, this pitch outside. The Greyhounds now lead 4-0. Things are not looking very hot for them.
are going on with Keys. Everyone's sailing outside and making the hitters.
And this pitch is taken for strike 1.
Second one is called a strike as the swing a little bit more down.
Charlie Rainick battled at his first at-bat, had 2 strikes on him for a while, but eventually got walked. So again, the junior transfer from university, his first year with the Carmel Greyhounds. A lot to prove.
Which I've been asking since the beginning of this game. You saw how he was pitching in the first game. Maybe he was just a little worried.
1-1 count for Rainick. Kagiris wants to talk it over as he calls Witter up for a mound visit.
Kagiris in. We're doing this up.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for Kagiris to kind of gather his bearings, make sure, he's on the same page as Witter, and hopefully, just kind of calm himself down, get in that right mindset to go make a play here.
Eli Kagiris, 0 outs, already gave up 2 runs this inning and a runner in scoring position with Max Walkie on second base. Rainick takes a hard cut at it. Strike 2.
Currently a 1-2 count for Rainick. Definitely the only time today he's seen a higher amount of strikes than balls. Kagiris has been pretty wild pitcher today, and I definitely think he's kind of reeled it in this at-bat.
Last season, Charlie Rainick is
Eli Kagiris. The 1-2 pitch is called strike 3. Wow, that looked high and possibly outside, but must have found his way to the corner, according to the umpire, and is called for strike 3. So a backwards K for Charlie Rainick, and the Warriors able to get their first out of the inning.
No idea what the umpire saw. That ball was high and away. That was nowhere near the strike zone.
definitely a little bit away.
Up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds is Mark Niels, trying to have a little redemption at bat for Charlie Rainick.
Once you get a little bit more warm-up in.
You got to take advantage of having Walkie into scoring position, put a ball out there, base hit, scores one, as Walkie might find himself into a pickle. No, just goes straight to third, and he takes it. Kagiris caught Walkie sleeping, threw it back to second base as he had a leadoff well too big as Unger was there. Would have tagged him out, but Walkie, smart enough to just advance his way to third base, and yes, he made it there before the throw. So wow, not exactly how he drew it up, but able to steal third base. As Neal swings on it, misses.
Nice job. Great job getting the
So an 0-1 count now. Again, now especially a ball out into the outfield will score Walkie.
It's now a 0-1 count here with the runner in scoring position.
Mark Niels takes a pitch. It's low. Walkie will be able to take home. So Max Walkie getting the Carmel Greyhounds' 5th run.
And the Greyhounds extend their lead out to 5-0. Bottom of the second inning, 1 out remains, and the bases are now empty.
So wow, bottom of the second inning, the Carmel Greyhounds already lead 5-0 with only 1 out. Mark Niels still up to play.
good chance VC and most
And this is called for a ball. 2-1 count now.
100%
There's got to be a better way to do that.
Eli Kagiris
second inning.
has to go down. It's one of his worst games.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And we're only in the second inning. But a nice pitch there as a swing and a miss from Niels.
Yeah, and currently we are looking at a possibility of a mercy rule for Carmel. If they keep up this pace, they're looking to have 10 runs by the top of the 4th.
Ooh, a low cut there by Niels. Gets him out for strike 3. But wow. Sorry, explain this to me, Patrick, because we are in the second inning, and you're talking about a potential mercy rule.
With the mercy rule, it is if a team is up or ahead by 10 runs or more by 4.5 innings, if they are the home team, the game is over. If this Covenant team cannot get on the board by the end of this inning, they probably will not be able to keep up.
Well, things are looking problematic for Covenant Christian then. Again, we are only in the second inning, so still plenty of time, but Carmel Greyhounds already running away with this one as it's Harris up to bat. Harris takes the pitch inside, 1-1 count. Jackson Harris, as I mentioned earlier, committed to Baylor University. He was one of the best players on the Carmel Greyhounds last year as only a sophomore. 290 batting average, had a terrific season. Could only expect he just continues to escalate as his high school career goes on.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where this kid goes, man. He is currently one of the best players on this team, one of the best players in the nation, matter of fact. And he's such an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he committed early. He had plenty of offers and would have gotten more in his junior year, but felt pretty good about Baylor and committed there early in his sophomore season. Speaking of Baylor, he will be joining Hunter Snow there, a player that the Carmel Greyhounds lost a couple of years ago, and from what I've seen, Snow's having a nice season there at Baylor. So could definitely be part of the reason that he feels good about Baylor.
That could be another reason. I also believe Baylor has had a pretty strong baseball program in the last 10-15 years. I do not believe they have won any Baseball World Series championships, but I do believe they've made it to the Baseball World Series almost every year.
Harris, early cut again. Wow, Harris needs to wait on the ball a little more, getting a little bit eager, and a couple early swings. Remains Harris's count to 2-2.
Yeah, and as you saw him there, kind of hit the calm down. You know, he was just mentally telling himself, "Got to take a sec. Maybe let the ball come to me rather than me come to the ball."
At least he's battling. Has another foul ball. That time just a little bit below it.
Count remains at 2-2.
2-2 count, 2 outs. The Carmel Greyhounds lead 5-0 with 0 runners at bat. Kagiris trying to get out of this second inning. Nope, the pitch is outside, so a full count now for Jackson Harris.
Good eye right there. Moving down in the last 3 pitches.
And as you mentioned a couple innings ago, this full count is a high pressure situation, you know, mostly on Kagiris, but
no problem for Harris as he takes the ball high. Again, I apologize. We are having, oh, nope, it is ball 4. Harris was not aware of it, but I guess I was on top of it as that is ball 4, and Jackson Harris able to take first base on the walk. And once again, pinch runner is brought in Adam Fouts to base run instead of Harris.
Yeah, I do believe when Jackson Harris has been running, there has been a slight limp in his gait. Not a huge worry there. Could also just be that he's not the fastest, and Fout is quite a speedy player.
Again, when you have a catchers and pitchers able to bring a pinch runner in, so obviously you will give it to the faster player. And when you have Adam Fouts not out there in the field, he's such a valuable player that completely understand wanting him at least run the bases.
For sure.
As it's Jackson Treadway now up to bat, takes the first strike, and he got walked in his first at bat. And Fouts steals second base. Oh no, he slid over and was called out. So Fouts made it by a mile, but slid a little bit too late. Eventually, Firkenhoff able to retrieve the ball and heads up play by tagging out Fouts once that hand came off the back. So wow, an unexpected way to end the inning as they had 3 runs, had some momentum going with Harris getting Wong Fouts brought in as a pinch runner, but then thrown out at second base. And oh my goodness, Carmel Greyhounds, I have not seen a pitching scheme like this in a while. We now have Evan Vogt out there. I'm sorry. We now
Jeremy Millay.
Jeremy Millay. I'm sorry. Evan Vogt was a pitcher that graduated last year. We now have Jeremy Millay out there for the Carmel Greyhounds. 3 innings, 3 different pitchers, still giving up 0 runs, just working them all in because they do need to figure out who they want to have their main pitchers be for the season. So when you have a 5-0 lead, why not get it all out right now? And Jeremy Millay, and checking last year's stats, and no, Jeremy Millay did not pitch a single inning last year, so trying something a little bit new for Millay. Let's see how he does. Once again, the Carmel Greyhounds lead 5-0 as we are about to begin the top of the 3rd inning. Starting off for Covenant Christian will be number 12, Eli Kagiris, the pitcher, struggling at the mound today. Maybe he's able to get a hit.
And Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong. I do not believe this Covenant Christian has made it through their batting order yet.
No, that is absolutely correct. They are struggling. Although this game feels like it has been going on for a while, it is only the beginning of the 3rd inning. But yeah, only 4 batters it took for the Greyhounds to get 3 outs in the 1st inning, and then we saw Nate Steele go 3 up, 3 down in the 2nd. So Jeremy Millay's first pitch of varsity baseball is a strike.
To bat, and that first pitch is
Great pitch there. Kind of a mix of what Cal Carmichael and Nate Steele have both been doing today. Fouled off there by Kagiris.
Eli Kagiris, we've seen what he's done at the mound today, but he is the senior leader and batted .219 last year. So not terrible numbers for Kagiris. Let's see what he has in hand for us tonight as that pitch shot at his head. Kagiris gets away from it, takes the ball. So 1-2 count now for Eli Kagiris as Jeremy Millay fires a pitch in, fouled off. Kagiris staying alive.
Made contact with it, but hits the net and a foul ball is called.
Jeremy Millay doing a pretty good job for his first pitches at the varsity level, as this one is high. 2-2 count.
On the mound, once again, a guy who does not get a lot of playing time, neither does Millay.
Yeah, Millay has looked pretty promising so far. Obviously, 2 balls thrown, but I do believe he has an opportunity to make a pretty big impact on this team as a pitcher.
Kagiris once again fouled off, but it is veering towards fair. Kagiris just took his time on that one. Expected it to be a normal foul ball as it had some spin. Almost drifted in fair territory once he started running. Harris picked it up. Would have it had made it into fair territory? I don't think so, but nonetheless, an interesting spin on that ball.
For sure.
Yeah, foul ball. The count remains 2-2 as Jeremy Millay fires that pitch in, and it is called for strike 3. Jeremy Millay, good start at the bump as all these pitchers look untouchable. I thought that pitching could have been a potential problem for the Carmel Greyhounds, and yes, this is 3 innings that we've seen, not even against not a very great baseball team. But Carmel is looking very good as Millay fires that one in, has a little bit more confidence. That looked like his fastest pitch yet. Way too high, called for ball 1. Millay's second pitch right down the middle. Not sure what Ty Thomas is looking at, as that is a strike.
Yeah, that was a heater right down the middle, and Ty Thomas absolutely could have capitalized off that pitch.
This pitch just inside, called a ball.
So a 2-1 count is what we're looking at here.
honestly, strong job right now. Covenant Christian just keeping their eye on the ball.
Ty Thomas up to plate, swings on it, wow, pulled his head very dramatically. He almost looked back at us as that was strike two. So 2-2 count now for Ty Thomas as this pitch quickly fired, and it is strike three. Oh, yeah. Jeremy Millay, wow.
Jeremy Millay with 2 strikeouts so far. Definitely one of the better pitchers apparently on this team.
Again, losing 10 seniors means this is going to be a completely new ball team. We will see some players at new positions in the field, some new players at the mound, but all of them can get the job done. As a senior, Jeremy Millay has a hot start to his pitching career. So we are back to the top of the lineup, and Henry Boyce, as Henry Boyce pops that ball up, drifting towards Zangrilli, and Zangrilli makes the routine fly ball. So 3 up, 3 down for Jeremy Millay. If you weren't getting enough from Cal Carmichael, bring in Nate Steele to go 3 up, 3 down, and then if that's not enough, bringing Jeremy Millay to get 2 strikeouts and then force a pop-up for another 3 up, 3 down. Carmel Greyhounds looking untouchable.
Carmichael, Steele, and Millay, they all look great so far.
Let's see if Covenant Christian sticks with Kagiris. Is it? Who do we have up to the mound? I believe we are going to need to get a better look at his number, because I apologize, his number is tiny. Number 2 is not showing up on the Covenant Christian baseball roster, so let's try to figure that one out.
So in for the Warriors.
But nonetheless, certainly a new pitcher in.
Liam Ferris, freshman pitcher for the Warriors. So Liam Ferris got his shot at pitching. You know, as we said, Liam Ferris just a freshman.
Bottom of the 3rd inning, the Carmel Greyhounds lead 5-0, trying to keep the run going. As you mentioned, Patrick, chance for maybe a mercy rule.
Number 2 isn't on any of our rosters for Covenant.
I think I'm hoping for anything to get some minutes left.
Theirs? It's not even on theirs. Probably change the numbers.
Yeah.
5 different pitchers. What we've seen so far.
I do believe the pitcher on the mound is Liam Ferris for the Covenant Christian Warriors. He is a freshman. On our roster, we have him as number 3, but I believe he switched numbers right before the season started.
This... Oh my goodness. Hold up. The pitcher for Covenant Christian, I believe, is Firkenhoff. Firkenhoff on the roster is listed at number 14, but if we take a look at the batting order that they wrote out, it is indeed Colin Firkenhoff. So, a little bit of substitution throughout the entire field as Firkenhoff moves from shortstop now to pitcher.
No, he said no. Yeah.
He doesn't have much batting experience at the varsity level.
2-0 count now as this pitch is high.
Way outside here for Ferris and the Warriors, and they pick.
Ball 3, so 3-0 count for Treadway.
And Treadway. Don't want this one to be a quick 4 balls and a walk for the Greyhounds, especially for a guy.
And Eli Kagiris, who was on the mound, just takes the spot of Firkenhoff and moves over to shortstop. Well, not much of a better start for Firkenhoff as his first 4 pitches are all balls, and Jackson Treadway an easy walk.
Number 2, Silas Neal.
Silas Neal looking for his second opportunity here on base, or to get on base. Wasn't able to do so in that.
Groovy walk-up song for Silas Neal, as hopefully that could pump him up to get a hit here. His first at-bat, he was hit by pitch as he bunts, pops it up, is caught. Good play there by Ferkenhoff as he was quick on it as soon as Neal showed bump. So, first out there for the Carmel Greyhounds.
The first baseman, number 7.
As now coming up for the Carmel Greyhounds is Jake Beam. Jackson Treadway remains on first base.
His way to the second time out on the base.
Just so you know, the players pick their own ballers. It's not my choice, it says.
The first pitch is popped up by Jake Beam. Veering towards left field is Thomas making the grab. Ooh.
By the Warriors.
Unlucky there for Jake Beam. Definitely some great distance on that ball, just way too much loft, giving Thomas the ability to catch that.
Yeah, it was not the most comfortable catch, though. You'd expect Thomas to maybe get a better angle on it, get behind the ball, but he almost kind of put his hand out there and just snagged it. I will say, if you take a look at that American flag, if you guys are able to see it back behind the center field fence, the wind is blowing, and I've been out there, and we are approaching some possible thunderstorms, and that will certainly get the wind swirling, so that will cause some problems. We've seen an error early in the game. First at-bat for the Carmel Greyhounds, John Zangrilli made his way to first base because of it. Silas Neal had one as well. Fortunately for him, the ball bounced foul, but yeah, the wind swirling out there. Moral of the story.
For sure. Definitely setting up one of our worries was the thunderstorm coming tonight, as well as this wind. Most people who had some sort of tent for their equipment or any sort of pop-up had to take it down because they couldn't keep it up.
Oh yeah, Treadway able to steal second base. Unlike Fouts, he was able to stay on the bag there. Again, I thought that might have been a late slide, but does a good job holding on to the bag. So gets his way into scoring territory. A base hit from Hare should score Treadway.
Treadway definitely leading off like he wants to steal third.
Hare. This pitch is taken, called for a ball. So a 2-0 count now for Kane Hare.
Yeah, Jackson Treadway also going to be the starting quarterback next year for the Greyhounds football team. Definitely nice to see that he's got some legs on him. Also, glad to know that he knows how to slide, so he'll be able to get to the ground next year.
And ball for Kane Hare, able to get walked. So runners on first and second in Kane Hare and Jackson Treadway. As you mentioned, the dual sport athlete Anthony Colner had been starting in varsity for the Carmel Greyhounds for 3 years, but is now graduating. Actually, he's already working out at Troy University, so he's long gone, and Jackson Treadway will quickly fill his footsteps.
Boston College.
I apologize. I forgot the decommitment from Colner now that we've moved on to football, but he decommitted from Troy and is actually at Boston College working out for them. So up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds is John Zangrilli. We're back to the top of the lineup once again. It's already the third time that we've said that. And Covenant Christian, on the other hand, have only got through 10 batters. But that ball is grounded off. Wow, Zangrilli showing off the wheels, but still not enough. Unger did a good job fielding that ball and getting Zangrilli out at first base. So, finally, Covenant Christian gets through an inning without giving up a run. The Greyhounds still lead 5-0 as we approach the top of the fourth inning.
I do believe the way Carmel looks like they're trotting out.
No. Do we have another pitcher at the bump for the Carmel Greyhounds? Petry, who is it?
Number 8, Luke Bryant.
Luke Bryant, again, did not pitch last season, but he has had that pitcher ability in him all along, as he was only in his sophomore year last season, got some pitching experience at the JV level, but now gets another year under his belt and moves on to varsity. So 4 innings, 4 pitchers for the Carmel Greyhounds. Will Luke Bryant keep the shutout going?
I will say I have noticed every single inning of when Carmel is batting, they have had a Carmel pitcher warming up in the bullpen, a new one, every single inning. This is currently Carmel on their 4th pitcher this game, which is absurd. Most teams stick with one until 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, and then they start to switch it out.
When you have a team so different than you did last year, you might as well get it out on the season opener, especially considering that their offense gave them some comfort with a 5-0 lead. But the pitchers, again, have looked unbelievable, so it doesn't matter what you do if all of them are able to get 3 quick outs.
Yeah, the last 2 pitchers, Nate Steele and, Jeremy Millay, both went 3 up, 3 down, each of them having 1 pop out and 2 strikeouts.
And Cal Carmichael, who started for the Carmel Greyhounds, only took him 4 batters to get 3 outs. He fortunately had a hit by pitch, which is the only base runner that Covenant Christian has gotten all night, was from a hit by pitch, and they didn't get much out of it because the very next batter was out, number 3. And like you mentioned, Patrick, we already have another pitcher out there warming up.
Looks like it is
far away. John
Paul Morgan.
Oh, yeah,
JP
sorry,
Morgan.
18. You're right. Far away. Thought that said 10, but no, number 18, John Paul Morgan, warming up for the Greyhounds bullpen, as this first pitch at the varsity level by Luke Bryant is fouled off by Gabe Unger.
I do think that Coach Owen here is looking to mix up his pitching staff, try and figure out who's going to be reliable for him throughout the season.
I like it because we talked about losing Cole and Evan, so then the main pitcher that you have is Cal Carmichael and Nolan Sunsdall, who actually underwent Tommy John surgery and will not return until about midway through the season. So until you get Sunsdall back, you're going to need to rotate through these guys, but if they're able to keep this up, Carmel Greyhounds might have a deeper bullpen than we thought.
Yeah, the way Nate Steele and Jeremy Millay came out today, they were on fire. Obviously, that's only 1 inning, so we're not sure how consistent they can keep it. But
again, that's 2 pitchers that did not get a lot of opportunities last year. Millay got 0 opportunities, and then you come out, go 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. That's just, you can't ask for more.
For sure.
As Bryant, the pitch is popped up. Will it be caught? Yes, it will. Who? A little bit scary there as Neal was under it, but then called off by Jackson Treadway, able to make the grab. Unger pops out.
Yeah, definitely an unconventional play there from Carmel, but always good to make sure that that ball is covered.
Weston Laughlin now up to bat for Covenant Christian. Batted .272 last year in his sophomore year. Now in his junior year, what will he do? He pops it up on the first pitch. Under the ball is Beam able to make the grab. Wow, Luke Bryant, a chance to go 3 up, 3 down.
For the 3rd inning in a row. That would be...
Give it to me. Luke Bryant, already 2 outs, no runners on base, as it is Colin Firkenhoff, the new pitcher for the Warriors that we saw in the last inning, up to bat.
Yeah, and that would be 13 straight batters for the Carmel Greyhounds that have either struck out or been popped out. Phenomenal play so far by your Greyhounds.
And all the pitchers so far for the Greyhounds, too, they aren't even needing to pull from the field, just straight from the bullpen or the bench. So exactly what you want to see, their depth and able to keep that elite field that we've seen tonight.
And that is a foul again for
Firkenhoff. So, Bryant This pitch, ooh, a little curveball high, veered outside. So a 1-1 count now.
First really bad.
Or a 2-1 count now, sorry.
Carmel Greyhound pitcher so far, but that one was way outside of Jackson Harris's reach.
Bryant's fourth pitch fired in low. Nice block there by Harris. Didn't matter with no one on base, but
Harris has for a ball switch,
always good to see.
and now a 2-1 count.
So a 3-1 count here for Firkenhoff
Trying to get another,
as Luke Bryant
and as you mentioned earlier,
keep the 3-up, 3-out streak alive. No, he is not able to. That pitch is high. Called for ball 4, so Firkenhoff finds his way onto first base.
On the base, and that is the first guy to find his way up
Umpire
the Warriors since the top of the first inning.
having a discussion with the coaches. Will they bring in a pinch runner for the pitcher? Yes, they will. Pinch running for Firkenhoff will be Nolan Jones, the freshman.
Yeah, it does look like after doing some research, Luke Bryant is one of the primary pitchers for his summer ball team. Definitely showing that he's had some experience on the bump, not necessarily in high school play, but him having any experience is definitely a positive for this Greyhounds team.
Witter, the freshman, sitting at 6'2", the righty.
Jacob Witter, the catcher, up to bat. At his first at-bat, he struck out, trying to redeem himself here, especially with the runner on base. There are 2 outs, but the Warriors have to expect to put up some runs soon.
Running here by Luke Bryant.
As, wow, this pitch swung on hard. Witter stepped into it, but swung on right beneath the ball, and that is strike 1. Bryant, the 1-1 pitch swung on. Again, it almost appears that Witter's stepping away from that ball. He's far away from the plate already. And then when he steps, he's almost like stepping towards first base. Looked like his bat was too short to reach it. And this pitch inside, called for a ball. But I do not mind it because Witter almost appears rattled up there.
Yeah, Witter also does seem to be crossing his left foot behind his right foot, which is very, very unconventional for most batters. Normally, you pick up that right foot instead of your left.
This ball high popped up towards Silas Neal. Will he be able to catch this one? Yes, he will. Redeems himself from the mistake he made in the first inning. Able to catch that one for out number 3. So the Carmel Greyhounds continue the shutout as the Greyhounds lead 5-0. As we are about to begin the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, up to bat first for the Greyhounds will be Charlie Raegan. Currently, he's been walked and he has struck out once, hoping to get a hit on the ball, get his batting average up. In his first season with the Hounds since his freshman year, he transferred out after his freshman year to university for his sophomore year, where he did get varsity minutes. And then after his sophomore year, he decided to transfer back to Carmel for his junior year.
Up on the mound once again is Colin Firkenhoff, wearing number 2. Not sure why all the rosters have him at number 14, but as I mentioned, their batting lineup that they wrote today. I don't know if he grabbed a jersey today in the locker room, must have forgot his or something, but rocking number 2 is Colin Firkenhoff on the bump for Covenant Christian.
I'm sorry, forgetting Covenant Christian. He really needs to get something going right now.
So as he mentioned, up to bat
They really just haven't found
for the Carmel Greyhounds is Charlie Raegan. No, it's not. It is. Sorry, you skipped a batter, Patrick. Max Walkie up to bat. How could you forget Walkie? Walkie, the play of the game tonight with his rip towards left field. Found it in the corner between left field And that third base foul line up to bat now. You don't want to skip him because he had a big double earlier tonight.
Yeah, apologies for skipping Walkie. Just saw Ranek start walking out towards the plate, thinking, I kind of thought he was going to go and skip Walkie himself.
Ranek is indeed on deck, though, as this ball is fouled off for Walkie. A quick 0-2 count puts Walkie in a tough position.
Definitely.
I was just going to say Firkenhoff already doing a better job than Kigaris did.
Yeah, definitely something to mention for this Carmel roster. Almost all of the players came up through the Carmel Pups Academy. I believe the only one that did not come up through the Carmel Pups Academy was Keegan O'Brien, who transferred in this year from Miami.
Second ball now called here on this scene.
And another ball. That ball is low. A 2-2 count now put on Max Walkie. Firkenhoff, the 2-2 pitch is swung on. Walkie a little bit below the ball. That is strike 3. So Covenant Christian, a good start to the inning.
The designated hitter, number 16, Charlie Raegan.
Charlie Raegan is now up to bat, Patrick. Let's see what he is able to do. As I mentioned earlier, he got walked, had a backwards K, so still yet to get his first hit as a Greyhound. As he watches that first pitch, a nice one. Good off speed as it dropped right into the strike zone at the last second. 0-1 pitch, swung on hard again by Raegan, and Raegan yet to drive one out there, but his cuts do look good if he's able to get a hold of one. 0-2 count now, like we saw with Walkie, as this pitch ripped towards the first base foul line at the warning track. Was it caught? Yes, it was. Oh my goodness, the freshman Luca Lipsy diving grab. Wow. Did not have a great read on it, but able to hustle out towards a warning track, towards that first base foul line, dives out there and snags it, almost a snow cone. I did not have a lot of faith in Gillespie grabbing that one.
Yeah, beautiful play there for Gillespie. Definitely not something you would expect out of a freshman, obviously showing that this Covenant Christian team has some promise in the future.
Raegan absolutely robbed of a base hit there. What a grab again.
Continue to see Liam Ferris wall a little bit because, as we said, in the third
up to bat now for the Carmel Greyhounds is Mark Niels.
And a 1-0 count here. It is Mark Niels out to bat. The second one's also called a ball. As this one's
2-0 count now for Mark.
And inside for Niels.
Niels is speed junior.
Ferris nearing the third pitch. This one is.
This pitch outside. 3-0 count now
Ferris so far is
for Mark Niels.
high.
Firkenhoff struggling on the bump.
Chest area of the Greyhound.
The 3-0 pitch wastes no time, fires it in there, just gets a strike as Niels was watching that one no matter what.
And a ball.
Because if you're going to swing at one, that's the one. But with a 3-0 count, an absolute red light, make him throw a strike to you, which was the good play, as this is ball for Mark Niels, will take first base.
Now been on base every single time he's been there.
The catcher, number 7, Jackson Harris.
Jackson Harris up to bat now for the Carmel Greyhounds.
He's on his way on base, I believe, every time he's out.
He's on his way on base, but he did not himself join the base. Instead, Simmons was Adam Fouts both times. The last time we saw Adam Fouts out there, he tried stealing second.
First pitch, looked a little low, but called for a strike. Harris had a little bend in the knees after watching that get called a strike.
Want to keep putting Fouts out there as his pinch runner. The 0-1 count here is.
So the 0-1 pitch from Firkenhoff is ripped towards the first baseman, fielded and stepped on first base. A good play there by Laughlin. Gets Covenant Christian out of the inning. So once they threw out Firkenhoff, they have done a solid job and are yet to give up a run with Firkenhoff out there on the mound.
Left on base. After 4 innings of play, Carmel 5, Covenant Christian 0.
To send it over the first base.
Does look like
Yep.
unless
Yep.
Carmel has a pretty impressive inning. You know, there is definitely not a possibility of a mercy rule this game.
You called it, Patrick. We saw John Paul Morgan warming up in that last inning, so we will now have our 5th pitcher of the game for the Greyhounds in John Paul Morgan. The Greyhounds yet to give up a run. The Greyhounds lead 5-0 and are now having their 5th pitcher in the 5th inning.
Yeah, John Paul, otherwise known as JP, I do believe pitched last year. Not in a large amount, but definitely a potential option for a good pitcher this year.
Very unprecedented
Harris, last batter to get out there, was slow to warm up his pitcher, so we had the backup catcher, Max Folk, able to warm up JP, but Harris finally geared up and out there.
Yeah, we've seen 2 backup catchers warming up pitchers today. Max Folk and Easton Stacy. Easton Stacy, a sophomore who was on the JV team last year with Max Folk. I believe Max Folk was a pitcher on the JV team last year.
Already, just looking at the warm-ups, JP appears to be firing these balls in there. Certainly some high velocity on this as Barrett Byers times him up. He will be the leadoff batter for Covenant Christian. And Patrick, let me tell you, this is a little bit of a full circle moment for me as Barrett Byers went to Creekside Middle School alongside me. We were both catchers on the Creekside team. He is now playing in tonight's game as a designated hitter. We're yet to see him behind the plate, but went to Creekside, freshman year, went to university, sophomore year transferred to Covenant Christian, and now takes a hit by pitch on the first pitch of JP Morgan's season. Next up to bat is Sean Blackney.
22, Sean Blackney.
JP, so not what you want to see to start the inning, but not a lot of worries as the Greyhounds still lead 5-0, and that is only 1 runner on base as this pitch is outside. Same spot that hit Barrett. This time, Blackney's a lefty. Nonetheless, still in the righty batter box. As he tries to throw it back at Byers, Byers able to make it back to the base.
back over that first base slot. So 1-0 remains the count here on this.
Morgan, the 1-0 pitch, swung on strike 1. Morgan able to get his first strike of the season with a nice high fastball.
Yeah. Good job from JP Morgan right there. That was a beautiful strike.
Made the fastball that found his way just into that strike zone and made Blackney swing at it.
Morgan, the 1-1 pitch, showing bunt is Blackney. Blackney pulls back, and I believe it was called a ball.
Not able to make contact with the ball.
Yes, it was. So a 2-1 count now for Sean Blackney, as let's see how the defense reacts to Blackney showing bunt.
And yet, the Greyhounds are still up 5.
Harris far on the left side. Might have been expecting a steal from Byers,
A little bit left and out of the
but certainly in position
so now a 2-2
to throw someone out as we see him shifted far over on the left side of that home plate. 2-2 count now. Sean Blackney steps out of the box, takes a minute
third baseman and
to
catcher
compose himself.
Warriors.
Blackney stepping back in. It's JP Morgan trying to get the first out of the inning as it is a 2-2 count, 1 runner on first base. Pitch on the outside, thrown back to first base. Ooh, Byers barely made it back in time, but wow, I'm more surprised that wasn't called a strike. 2 almosts for the Carmel Greyhounds. Almost strike 3, almost thrown out at first, but all that changes is another ball to Blackney's count. So a 3-2 count. Byers still the runner on first base. Morgan, the full count pitch. Oh, and it is called ball 4. So Byers, it appears he was stealing, but with ball 4, able to advance. You know, I'll tell you this, if that ball was popped up or lined up, he would have been absolutely screwed. Would have got thrown out back at first base, but fortunately, able to just walk his way to second base.
Yeah, I definitely think J.P. Morgan seems to be in his head a little bit, having a mound talk here. As you can see, the team kind of hyping him up, telling him, hey man, if you got this, get out your own head, go throw some strikes.
Not too worried about Morgan, as although it may appear that he's struggling, this is 2 batters. He had some big shoes to fill, as between the first 4 pitchers there was only 2 runners, and already the first 2 batters find their way onto first and second base.
That ball way inside, almost hits the batter in number 12. Keegeris was a pitcher from South Korea.
Yeah, Keegeris was a pitcher earlier in this game.
As Morgan throws back to second base, everybody keeping Byers on their toes as Harris tried to throw him out at first, and now Morgan trying to pick him off at second.
As I was saying, Keegeris was the pitcher for the Covenant Christian Warriors. The first 2 innings definitely struggled, allowing 5 runs in those first 2 innings and then getting swapped out. But I do believe he's gotten out of that mental block. I do not think he has hit the ball yet with 1 strikeout, hoping to capitalize here on this opportunity.
This pitch, 2-0 pitch, is high. Ball 3. Morgan struggling to find that strike zone. So with 3-0 count, with runners on first and second, if he doesn't dial in, the Greyhounds are at risk of bases loaded. The 3-0 pitch, it's not what you like to see. Ball 4, wow. Even with the 3-0 count, Morgan struggling to find the strike zone. It looks like we might have another mound visit. Let's see what the Greyhounds do this time. Yes, it is bringing in the entire infield as we have a mound visit.
I do believe from our angle you can see Charlie Rannick, the current first baseman, warming up in the bullpen. Each inning they have had a new player warming up in the bullpen for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Charlie Rannick, as he mentioned, the transfer from university, not having his best day at the plate, but might get a chance at the mound. So after a quick little talk, they keep Morgan back out there already. The second visit this inning, still yet to give up a run. So with bases loaded and 0 outs, not the most ideal position you want to be in, but certainly something you could recover from with a 5-0 lead. Up to bat, we have Ty Thomas. His first pitch he takes. Strike 1. J.P. Morgan already dialing in. I would not be surprised if Coach told Thomas to make him throw you a strike because Morgan was struggling to find the strike zone. And Morgan just fires it right down the middle twice in a row. So 2 pitches taken by Ty Thomas results in an 0-2 count for him. 0-2 count, bases loaded, 0 outs. What will J.P. Morgan deliver? Another fastball, strike 3, easy as pie, as all he needed was some 3 fastballs right down the middle, getting him a quick strikeout in his first out of the season. Number 13, Henry Boyce, back up to the plate for Covenant Christian. The leadoff hitter is 0 of 2 tonight with a strikeout and a pop-up with bases loaded and runners in scoring position, obviously. Let's see if he's able to capitalize.
J.P. Morgan definitely looking like he is hitting his stride right now with that last strikeout. Obviously a ball there, but hoping to keep pushing.
Henry Boyce rips that ball, shallow left center field, and yes, he will bring in a couple of runners. There you go. Covenant Christian finds their way onto the board with a single by Henry Boyce, bringing in 2 Warriors. The Warriors cut the lead 5-2.
Second baseman, number 7.
As I was about to say, Henry Boyce, one of Covenant Christian's few commits. He is committed to Indiana Wesleyan University, and he is certainly playing like a player that deserves that position. As this ball down the third base line will bring in some more runs for the Warriors. Oh, a nice throw by Zangrilli, not in time, and the Warriors are rolling, as that was Gabe Unger able to make his way to second base and get an RBI. Covenant Christian now trails 5-3, as we are going to get another mound visit. JP Morgan struggling at the bump.
It does look like there is a chance of a pitching change here.
At first, when you're up 5-0, after the second inning, we're looking at, let's see who can do it. Let's see who can handle at this level, get a little warm-up game for the first game of the season. Now, your record's at risk with it being a 2-run game. The Carmel Greyhounds make the pitching change, and it is indeed Charlie Rainick now on the mound for the Carmel Greyhounds. So again, another pitcher that we have not seen play for Carmel Greyhounds. But in his Carmel debut, Rainick is on the bump. Let's see what he could do. So up to bat for Covenant Christian will be, Weston Laughlin. The junior had a batting average of 272 last year. He is also a pitcher. We are yet to see him tonight, but he did pitch over 30 innings last year at an ERA of 1.14. So he could do it on the offensive end, and he could do it on the defense as well, as he's already had a solid game in the field at first base, but could also pitch if it gets to that situation. Laughlin, man of many talents. He's also on the varsity basketball team, which I believe basketball is actually his main sport. So Laughlin, dual sport athlete, many position baseball player, now up to the plate with a walk-up song of "Can't Stop." You gotta love that. "Can't Stop" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers might be the best walk-up song I've heard tonight.
Me personally, mine was "Jammin' by Bob Marley," a Max Walkie's walk-up song. That is quite the way to get zen before you go to bat.
Well, it got him a rip deep left field that brought in 2 runners, so whatever it takes, he shouldn't switch anything about that walk-up song. As this first pitch for Charlie Rainick already off to a hot start, strike 1.
Yeah, Charlie Rainick, not only is he pitching his first at-bat for Carmel, but last year at University, he was one of their main pitchers.
And this second pitch, also a strike, swung on by Laughlin. Laughlin a little bit too early. Harris had to block that ball, bounce in front of him, as there is a runner on third base, so at risk of that, but did a good job staying in front of the ball and keeping the runners where they're at. But 2 runners in scoring position, as Laughlin with a base hit will tie the game. So only 1 out for the Carmel Greyhounds as Rainick fires that ball in there. A nice grab by Harris to prevent a passed ball.
Yeah, if Laughlin hits a double here, even a triple,
a base hit, anything into the outfield will certainly score the runner from second and third. So if you're Laughlin, your main priority has to be contact, especially with 1 out. There's so many possibilities right now for the Warriors to bring in more runs, and that is what you need to capitalize on, because if we look at the scoreboard, if we look at those first 4 innings, zeros across the board, and now when you come into this inning, inning. J.P. Morgan giving up 3 runs and still have runners on second and third. You got to capitalize in that situation. So Weston Laughlin takes this pitch high, called for a ball, and a full count now for Weston Laughlin.
A basic loaded opportunity for medium Ferris.
Charlie Rainick.
Okay, that's good. That's fine.
On deck.
The full count pitch, fired in, hit towards right field.
Weston Laughlin towards left field.
And it is caught, but that will bring in a runner. Mark Neal's good job making the routine fly, but nonetheless, sac fly for Weston Laughlin, and Covenant Christian brings in yet another run. So 4 runs this inning for the Warriors, cuts the lead 5-4. We have a ball game on our hands.
Ball game, and that's not even, that might be a little bit more.
Colin Ferkenhoff now up to bat for the Warriors. This first pitch popped up, foul. Oh, wow, right towards the bleachers. Appears everyone's all right as that hit the back of the bleachers.
Yeah, I do believe that went right over the Covenant Christian softball team who is here today cheering on their baseball team.
Made contact by Colin Ferkenhoff. Ferkenhoff actually has
Rainick, the pitch high. Again, another nice grab by Harris. Rainick, couple close balls to past one. Good thing. When you have a D1 catcher there, a Baylor commit in Jackson Harris, you could almost throw it anywhere and expect that Harris stays in front.
For sure, definitely helps that Harris is such a phenomenal catcher.
Rainick, the 1-1 pitch is popped up once again towards shallow right field. This time is caught by Kane Hare for the third out. So, Carmel Greyhounds certainly not their best inning tonight, giving up 4 runs. The Greyhounds now lead 5-4 as we approach the bottom of the 5th inning. Carmel Greyhounds have got to get some hits here to give themselves a little bit more cushion. They had a 5-run lead ever since the end of the second inning, and just like that, just with another new pitcher change, the Warriors capitalize, get 4 runs in that half inning, and let's see what they could do from that.
Bringing in Rainick definitely helped that Carmel team recover. Obviously, he didn't have any strikeouts, but he did have 2 pop-outs and only gave up 1 run.
Ferkenhoff back out there to pitch for Covenant Christian Warriors. Once they brought him out there, we saw some struggles from Eli Kagiris, giving up 5 runs after the first 2 innings, and just with 1 pitching change starting off in the 3rd inning, bringing out Colin Ferkenhoff. He has done a phenomenal job, yet to give up a run, trying to keep that going. So up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds is number 3, Jackson Harris, the junior. Well, I'm sorry, Jackson Treadway, the junior Jackson Treadway.
Yeah, having 2 Jacksons as juniors is pretty confusing, but their key differentiator is shortstop and catcher.
Yeah, we got 2 Jacksons, 2 Max. Want to talk about the 2 Max I mentioned, Max Full backing up. We got Max Walkie and Max Folk. Max Folky is his nickname, so Folky and Walkie, both Maxes, 2 Jacksons as well. Names could get a little bit complicated around here, but it is Jackson Treadway up to bat. As this pitch fired in high, called for a ball, so a 1-1 count now. Treadway trying to lead off the inning on a high note as this pitch is inside.
On its way to
Treadway, we mentioned earlier, really up close to the plate.
Treadway doing a good job battling Ferris right now.
Might have been able to take that one, but leans away from it. As this 2-1 pitch outside for another ball, the 3rd ball, Treadway is left with a 3-1 count.
And now
Treadway.
Opportunity to get his win.
One more ball, and he'll be able to get his third walk of the night. Ooh, wow. Ooh.
Outside, called a strike.
High and outside, called a strike.
Now a full count.
Must have been painting on the very edge of that strike zone as Treadway is left with a full count. This time, pops it up. Will it get caught by the Warriors? As that is not as easy as it looks. It is indeed the pitcher, Firkenhoff, able to make the grab as that ball was rocketed high into the sky.
Dugout.
Yeah, beautiful play there for Firkenhoff.
Maintained by Ferris.
Never as easy as it seems to catch a ball coming from that high.
So next up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds is the senior Silas Neal.
On a strike that was absolutely not correct, then he had to pop out fly. Now you have Silas Neal to make up.
Neal had to pop out earlier tonight, and his only time he's found his way on base is from a hit by pitch.
Even with their 5 runs, they've only had 3 hits. So, a lot of
Firkenhoff.
pitching and also got
The 1-0 pitch fired in there for strike one. 1-1 count now for the lefty batter, Silas Neal.
a 1-1 count is what we're looking at here with Neal and the pitcher and Ferris.
And the pitch fired in there, swung on, strike 2.
Neal is
Firkenhoff looks great.
as his last at that resulted in a pop-out fly.
Firkenhoff definitely sitting pretty in this inning if he can get an out here.
1-2 count.
There for Neal and the Hounds.
That's really odd.
The pitch
1-2 is the count.
hit towards the third base foul line is a few yards foul, but Neal able to stay alive. But if that ball was just a few more yards to the right,
Barely inside.
Neal would have had himself a nice hit.
He really need that one.
So again, the 1-2 pitch, swung on again, strike 3, Firkenhoff. What a job he has been doing for the Covenant Christian Warriors.
The first baseman, number 17.
I do believe there is a 6th pitcher currently warming up for the Carmel Greyhounds.
So, Patrick, that would actually be pitcher number 7 because Rainick came in for J.P. Morgan. So we have had 5 innings and 6 pitchers.
You are correct. Wow.
I've
that
never
is
seen so many pitchers in the
absurd.
game. Jake Beam up to bat for the Greyhounds.
Carmel really needs
Does look like that pitcher is not truly pitching, just throwing the ball. But it is Keegan O'Brien. Definitely a potential option at pitcher, a transfer in for Carmel from Miami, Florida.
Firkenhoff in his sophomore year last year only pitched 9 innings, and he looks incredible after only getting a few opportunities in that last season. Certainly could be one of their top pitchers this year based off what he has done tonight. Jake Beam fouls that ball off. We now have a 2-2 count for Jake Beam, the Greyhounds. Struggling in this inning as they gave up 4 runs, and their first 2 batters both got out. So this could be one of the worst innings possible for the Greyhounds as that pitch had a lot of movement on it right to left, but still outside for ball number 3. So a full count now, 2 outs. Jake Beam up to bat, fouls it off, and stays alive.
Another one off. So now the remains
Jake Beam has the potential to make a huge play here for the Greyhounds. If he can get any sort of base hit, get himself on base, potentially even, second.
Oh, yeah, rips it to right, center field, 1 bounce, hits the fence, Beam is running.
will stop at second.
Oh, my goodness, stand up double for Jake Beam. There you go, Patrick. Just what you want to see.
And that is that momentum swinging play that every team needs after having an inning like Carmel just did on the mound.
Replaced by a pinch runner.
So now the Greyhounds have a runner in scoring territory as Kane Hare, the 9th hitter, the senior leader, up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds.
Just had to go and high five.
There's a total hits is 1.
Oh, wait, what?
The first pitch for Hare is inside, called ball 1.
So far, hitting wise,
What was it before?
a 1-0 count.
Yeah, so it should be 5 now?
Yeah, Caden Hare has been in his past 2 at-bats walked. Definitely looking to get himself on base here.
A hit should score Beam, so got to have that hitter's mentality, although he's done a nice job getting on base in those 2 at-bats from walks. If now's the time, if there's a time to hit it, the time's now. And a 2-0 count for Caden Hare. Firkinoff now struggling to find the strike zone. 2-0 pitch. Fired in there, fouled off. It was a high pitch. Hare wanted it.
And hits the back of the net. So 2-1 is your count now.
2-1 count now for Caden Hare. Firkinoff trying to get out of the inning as there is 2 outs. Firkinoff still yet to give up a run to the Greyhounds.
Over to that right side. Who's this?
Harris steps out of the box, takes a deep breath, steps back in there. He knows the situation. He knows this is a big at-bat. This ball popped up towards the Warriors' dugout. Yes, it is caught by Colin Firkinoff, able to get out of the inning. Covenant Christian. Wow, they are in this game, Patrick.
Yeah, what was looking like a potential mercy rule has turned into a 1-point game.
Yeah, Patrick, that might go down in one of the most all-time jigs if the Warriors are able to fully creep back in this, because they do still trail by 1 run with only 2 innings remaining in IHSAA baseball. These teams play 7 innings, and we are now about to begin the top of the 6th. As is Charlie Rainick back out there to pitch for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, this is the first inning that Carmel and Coach Owen have decided to keep a pitcher in from inning to inning. Definitely a good decision, as Rainick was hitting his stride towards the end of last inning.
100% Rainick gave up 1 run, but that runner was who Morgan let on base. So with Carmel bringing out 6 pitchers, 5 of them has been unbelievable, and Morgan, I'm not super worried about him. His first time pitching at the varsity level. Give him some time to develop, but until then, you have a full stacked lineup of pitchers.
For sure. I definitely think after those first 2 innings, Coach Owen was feeling pretty confident, which is definitely why he started to trot out the different pitchers. And once we got to JP Morgan, I think I believe he was just had some sort of mental block or was dusting off that rust. I definitely think that we should have no reason to be worried about him at all.
Covenant Christian, a lot to prove after losing their top 2 players in Blake Cope and Bryce Egan, also losing one of their top pitchers and Nolan Guzman, are now facing off against Carmel Greyhounds, typically one of the best teams in the state. And the Carmel Greyhounds actually defeated Covenant Christian last year 13-3, but just like that, they trail 5-4 and have a chance to start off the season with a win. Up to bat for Covenant Christian is the freshman Sean Blackney. Blackney pops this one up. Silas Neal trying to get under it. The ball is in foul territory, but it is still caught by Silas Neal for out number 1.
Yeah, beautiful play there by Silas Neal. Definitely not as easy as you would think, but great play there, kind of keeping momentum for Carmel after last inning.
Shortstop number 12, Eli Figueres.
Up to bat for Covenant Christian is Barrett Byers. And the pitcher, Charlie Rainick. First pitch on Byers. Throws it with some heat, but it's outside, ball 1.
A little bit of struggle on that pitch. As you know, he's either fast or wide. It's one bit today. It's not
Rainick, a 1-0 count now, 1 out. The Carmel Greyhounds lead 5-4, top of the 6th inning. Rainick throws this one right down the middle, showing Byers the heat. Strike 1 is called, so a 1-1 count now.
Byers. Up at bat. 1-1 count.
Byers calls time.
Yeah, it's right here.
The 1-1 count remains here for Byers. As it is
Rainick on the bump. Throws this ball outside. Ball number 2.
ball 2 is what is called there by the umpire. So a 2-1 count now.
Byers, the junior catcher, playing tonight as a designated hitter, batted .229 last year. Pretty solid job for the sophomore. Now in his junior year, again, expect him to just get better and better as he gets deeper and deeper into high school. Byers
Finds his way.
swings on it, ground ball to Treadway. Treadway fields it, fires it towards Beam, and gets the out. Is that the first ground out of this entire game? Or we had a couple for the Warriors, but for the Greyhounds, these pitchers have been so phenomenal that we haven't seen a bunch of contact into play for the Warriors. But yeah, a ground ball fielded by Treadway gets out number 2 for the Carmel Greyhounds in the top of the 6th inning. Now up to bat for the Warriors is Sean Blackney. Harris flips off his helmet, needs a second, might have got some turf in his eye as he appears to be rubbing that right eye. Have to imagine on an all-turf field, those black turf beads will always be flying up. Might have caught a couple in his eye right there, but Harris is all right as there's an 0-1 count, 2 outs. Rainick fires his pitch in there, high and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, an interesting fact about Carmel Athletics is that this currently is the only turf field that Carmel Athletics has that has the black turf pellets. Otherwise, they are using coconut husk for every single field with turf. Not only is it the more cost-effective option, but it is the more environmentally beneficial option.
And if you ask me, it's pretty awesome. There's nothing better than a turf field, and we see a lot of turf infields, but no, infield, outfield, dugouts, everything. All turf field. It's such a beautiful field. Such a beautiful place in Hartman Field.
Yeah, one thing I will note, the players have probably some of the best traction at any Carmel sports facility here due to having those black pellets. When players are running on coconut husk, it is very common for them to slip or fall, as some people may have seen at the Indianapolis Colts Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, ball number 4 called on Sean Blackney, gets him the walk. So a runner now on base with 2 outs and Eli Kagiris stepping up to the plate. So the tying runner now on first base as this pitch in there. Wow, Kagiris really pulls that head when he swings. I mean, he's taking a hard cut at it. If he's able to get a hold of it, it will fly far, but not sure how he'll be able to get a hold if he's not keeping his head in there.
For sure.
Rainick.
Right now, the second pitch underway.
The 0-1 pitch is low. If you saw Harris kind of flipping his hand towards the outside, might have wanted an outside pitch there. Rainick didn't necessarily answer as he just fired it down low at the ground. 1-1 count.
2-1 count.
I'm sorry, yeah, 2-1 count now. As Rainick takes his time, throws it high, past ball, and Sean Blackney will walk his way towards second base. So now you have the tying runner into scoring territory. Rainick starting to get a little wild, and we've kind of seen that all night. He's been pretty close to a couple pass balls saved by some incredible stops by the catcher Jackson Harris. But Rainick needs to settle in. As is a 3-1 count, 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. The Carmel Greyhounds lead 5-4 as Eli Kagiris is up to bat. This pitch, yes, strike 2. Full count now, 2 outs. Tying runner on second base is Sean Blackney.
Definitely a great opportunity here for, pardon me,
Raegan, oh, that pitch. Fiery, did it clip him? No, it did not. It did not, so he got away from it and just took another ball. You got to be rattled. But Sean Blackney able to take third base. So a full count now as Kigris dodges that ball like he's in the Matrix and has a chance to bring in a runner after dodging that one. Make the most of it. No, he does not. Swung on hard, and he swung and missed. So out number 3 for the Carmel Greyhounds as Raegan does a good job holding the Warriors to 0 runs in that inning.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity there for Raegan to make that play. I will say there is a potential of a rain delay or...
So yeah, we do have a little bit of sprinkles coming in, which should not be much of a problem for the baseball team, especially considering they play on an all-turf field, but it is potentially a problem for our broadcast as we do have a lot of cameras out of here. We are already starting to pull a camera, but we still have a couple of angles for you guys as there's only 1.5 innings remaining. We will do our best to complete the broadcast as I have faith, Patrick. And I know we're not on the tech team. I know you're often on the tech team, but now you're stuck next to me in the booth. Don't get a lot of say in what we do, but it is such an incredible game. You have to hope that we're able to finish it. So rain, go away. Come again another day.
For sure. And definitely it is not only a worry for us, but also a worry for the players, seeing as they mostly play, and matter of fact, all of the Carmel players play with metal bats, and metal does conduct lightning. So if it does start thundering, they will call this game.
True, but it appears if I look at the forecast, we might just have some sprinkles, some rain. Hopefully no thunderstorms, but certainly could get wet, which, hey, if you ask me, I think that's some fun on some turf field. Certainly get some slides. It's like sliding on a water slide, just makes you feel like a kid, and it's just so fun for the players, but not fun for the broadcast. So give me 1.5 more innings. John Zangrilli up to bat for the Carmel Greyhounds as the Greyhounds lead 5-4. That second pitch, inside strike, painting on that inside of the strike zone.
Definitely hoping this one of these teams can do whatever they can to end this game by the 7th inning so that there is not a possibility of a rain cancellation or delay.
1-1 pitch is low, so a 2-1 count now for John Zangrilli.
Fairness in the ball, that one's going to go up and high.
As the pitch by Firkenhoff is high. Firkenhoff has been out there since the 3rd inning after subbing in for Kagiris. He has done such a great job, as we've mentioned many times tonight, because it is very notable as Kagiris gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Wow, but what a rip by John Zangrilli, able to get a single. John Zangrilli is having an incredible night, as that's his 2nd single. He also almost 3rd if you're not counting the error. He had a infield pop-up that was dropped, so that's his 3rd time making his way to first base.
Has 2 hits so far and has been on base 4 times.
But yeah, again, Firkenhoff has been in this position. He's had runners on base, but he's yet to give up a run, which has been huge for Covenant Christian. Helped his team creep their way back into the game. If we look back at the top of the 5th inning, where the Warriors scored all 4 of their runs, the Carmel Greyhounds now only lead 5-4. Walkie shows bunt, Avantis Zangrilli to 2nd. Zangrilli thinks about going 3rd. Oh no, he's going to be stuck into a pickle. Zangrilli is eventually tagged out, is he? Yeah, now tagged out. The umpire was giving some weird signaling there, but oh no. Walkie Rookie did his job with the bunt. Zingrilli got a little eager about turning and looking at third. Not enough time, though. I'm not sure what he was doing. And when he tried to go back to second, he slipped a little bit, as we are already seeing these sprinkles play a factor in this game. But wow, you got to be smarter than that, as that's 2 quick outs now. After being in a decent position, Rainick grounds this ball to the shortstop, Keegaris. Keegaris struggled at the mound, but doing a good job in the infield, as that is 3 up, 3 down for Covenant Christian, despite them giving up a hit to Zingrilli.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity there for the Hounds. What?
7. We now approach the top of the 7th inning, the final inning. The Greyhounds lead 5-4, so if they are able to hold Covenant Christian to 0 runs, this game is over.
Does look like Max Folk is out warming up number 4. Keegan O'Brien.
Keegan O'Brien doing
a brand new transfer for Carmel, a junior, looks to be throwing some heat today.
I was talking to Cal Carmichael earlier today about what the pitchers are looking like this year. Obviously, he was the starter tonight, did a terrific job with 4 batters and 3 outs, but he told me to look for a couple of players, and one of them was Keegan O'Brien, so I'm surprised we're seeing him now as the 7th pitcher, but I've heard some great things about him. Maybe 8th pitcher. 8th, wow. It's hard to keep count of all these pitchers. I've never seen so many in one ball game.
Yeah, I do believe Keegan O'Brien is a brand new transfer this season. It is a junior, his first year at Carmel. He transferred in from high school in Miami, Florida.
As Patrick is looking that up, trying to get the specific high school that Keegan O'Brien came from. Covenant Christian trying to stay into this game, as it is number 18 who will be leading off the inning is Ty Thomas. So, Ty Thomas, the final batter in the order, I believe. After him, you're back to the top of the lineup with the game on the line. So honestly, things are not looking bad for Covenant Christian, as this was a game that could have been a blowout. Oh my gosh, you are not lying. O'Brien is throwing some heat. We do not have a velocity scanner on us, but it's got to be high 80s.
Yeah, Keegan O'Brien is a lefty who transferred in from Venice Senior High School in Miami, Florida.
Let's see what Ty Thomas is able to do against these high speeds from Keegan O'Brien. O'Brien, first pitch, strike 1. Oh yeah, that's who you want there at the closer. You always see the closers having high speed and closing the game, which is why they're called the closers. O'Brien looks like he might do a good job of that, as that is early strike number 2. 0-2 count now for Ty Thomas. Keegan O'Brien wasting no time, as this third pitch is inside, called for ball 1. Oh, right there, just inside. O'Brien, the 1-2 pitch fouled off. You could just tell how late Ty Thomas was on that one, and you have to adjust to all these different pitchers. Although it's interesting seeing all these new pitchers pitch. We already have another one in the bullpen in Adam Fouts, but this pitch from Keegan O'Brien is swung on late, as expected, by Ty Thomas, and is struck out. So Keegan O'Brien might be able to face this game on his own, but when you are bringing out all these new pitchers, it's hard to adjust to, and that has certainly caused the Warriors some problems.
Yeah, and currently looking at his past stats, he throws a 70 to 74 mile-an-hour curveball.
Now up to bat for Henry Boyce. Or now up to bat for Covenant Christian is Henry Boyce, who had a double earlier tonight. One of their biggest plays of the game helped them get some runs on the board.
Early 0-2 count here for O'Brien and the Greyhounds.
O'Brien. This pitch grounded off to second base, fielded by Hare. Fired to first base is now Raegan playing first, and out number 2 for the Greyhounds. So, Carmel Greyhounds 1 out away from sealing the deal. Pressure is left in the hands of Gabe Unger, who also was a part of that big rally that the Warriors had in the 5th inning.
Top 7th fade.
Tonight after such a strong start. Words from the ump right now as looks like
I'm talking to Harris as Harris is going to take a mound visit, as this is potentially the final batter of the game. You do not want to mess this up.
Ryan is playing.
Harris, a quick little talk. Almost looked like O'Brien shrugged him off.
Definitely not about some struggles, but
Let's see what O'Brien does.
I didn't understand what that was.
Yeah, I finally found Keegan O'Brien's fastball velocity, and it ranges from 75 to 82 miles an hour. Looks to me today that he is throwing faster than that.
100%. Cal Carmichael tops out at 84, and I don't know. I'm no velo tracker, but he looks like he's thrown quite a bit harder than Carmichael.
Absolutely.
how fast this ball is being thrown here.
So a 2-1 count now,
Being thrown, so I think I said at least 5.
as it is Unger
It surprised me. This guy is the
up to bat.
that ball's on fire.
2 outs. This pitch, oh, just outside. Man, he is right there on all of these. 3-1 count now, as Gabe Unger trying to keep this ball game alive. The pitch fired in there. Yes! Strike 2, as Unger had already flipped his bat towards the dugout, expecting to take a walk. So, ooh, this could bite him in the back, as it is now a full count. 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. They trail 5-4, game on the line. Keegan O'Brien, the pitch, popped up. To Max Walkie, is it caught? Yes! The Carmel Greyhounds able to seal the deal with the fly out by Gabe Unger. Keegan O'Brien, a great job at the closer, going 3 up, 3 down. Carmel Greyhounds, great way to start the season with a 5-4 victory over the Covenant Christian Warriors.
Definitely some beautiful pitching play from the Carmel bullpen. Obviously got a little bit shaky with J.P. Morgan, but otherwise, I did not see a pitcher that was struggling today. Definitely a wonderful game from this Carmel team.
100%. That's what you like to see. Work in all those new guys. Start to develop the new team that you have, despite losing 10 seniors coming into this year. But I could talk about this team all night. That's a great start to the season with a 5-4 victory over the Warriors. But the sprinkles are starting to get harder and harder, and we might start to have some technology problems. So thank you for tuning in. I've been Brendan Melby alongside Petry Levora here at Hartman Field for the Carmel Greyhounds season opener. Thank you for listening.
Game time,
really
6 p.m.
got the job done right there, and really it's the guys who made the Greyhounds jump out to that early lead.
Yeah, 1A and 1B right there. That was really important.
Now they'll jump out to a bit of a prayer circle, what it looks like, between both teams. It's great to see how both teams can come together even after an intense game like that. But that'll do it for tonight. The Greyhounds coming out on top of this one, 5-4, led by guys like John Zangrilli and Max Walkie. Greyhounds now 1-0 on this season, and thank you guys so much for listening. I've been Ben Contorzi, pleased to be here with Oscar Joseph, and we'll see you guys for the next broadcast here on 91.3 WHJE.
You guys look like losers.